I never ever set out to be a leader of anything. As a child, I grew up in a difficult, poor family. Father was a coal miner, our mother worked at home. Typical sort of 1950s story.
I remember sort of wanting to be vice president, easing into the role a little bit, and I was pretty much told, that's not you, it's president or nothing. You don't generally work well unless you're at the top.
There was no conscious decision to become a leader. It was just in response to a situation where no one else was prepared to put their hand up and get involved.
I guess my bosses threw me in the deep end many times, and I just had to work things out and solve problems, and I found I was good at solving problems.
Charisse and I wrote the book, Born to Lead. We brought together 10 very senior Australian international leaders who talked to us around the concept of being born to lead and around other leadership ingredients.
Life is about learning, isn't it? I mean, we learn throughout life. My own life demonstrates that I began learning as a child and it's continued through adult. I'm still learning, particularly at learning about being a leader. Because being a leader becomes something which is more related to personal qualities than what you know. And so with every role I've had in my life, I've learnt new things about leading.
My journey began when I became president of the Orange Chamber of Commerce. And I remember at the election, everyone was like, anyone else? Anyone? Anyone? And that was really a little bit heartbreaking, but that just made me more determined to actually push through and show them that they were all wrong, that a young woman could be a president of a Chamber of Commerce that was predominantly older men at the time and very, very traditional. And from there, I've just had a natural progression, I guess, through the world of business and through the world of the Chambers of Commerce. And it took me to where I am today as being a board member of the New South Wales Business Chamber, and then, of course, sitting on other organisations, giving advice and mentoring others.
I'd been studying psychology and sociology as an external student, even though I'd left school early. I found that fascinating because of the experience that I'd had in Far North Queensland, and I applied those skills into the marketing and the people industry that was actually the tourism industry. So not knowing anything about it, I came into it with a different mindset, a fresh set of eyes, and took a very different approach to what had been taken before. Unfortunately, it was very successful as a consequence of that.
I think having mentors is critical. I think in life everyone should have mentors. In fact, in some ways everyone does, but it's not that obvious. Some young people perhaps have less opportunities. I actually had in my childhood even mentors. I had a person that ran a slot car track, pinball parlour and iceworks, which I used to spend far too much time. When my parents were unable to supervise me, as they were most of my teenage years, I'd head off there. I would not do the school homework. And the person that ran it was a person that would say at the end of the day, mate, why are you still here? Go home, you must have some homework to do. You're in year 11 at high school, get yourself home and actually do your homework. In fact, I remember him vividly one day saying, Paul, his name was, Paul said, mate, one day I want people to say, who's that young man over there? And he said, I want to be able to say, well, that's a guy called Trevor Kearney, who I've known for a lot of years. He's a mechanical engineer. I don't want him to have to say, well, he's just a bum that hangs around here all the time. And so that man was a mentor, without me even realising he was a mentor. And I had numbers of others along the way.
So one of the challenges that I've gone through as a leader is I started a Azure Group when I was 27, 28 years of age, without any clients, and the clients that I was targeting were successful older businessmen, and approaching those sorts of people to gain their trust, to be able to engage with them, to get advice off me as a professional, that was, from day one, what I discovered actually was the most important bit was my belief in myself. Because if I didn't believe that I could help those people, then how could they believe that I would be able to help them?
So at a very young age, I found myself in a leadership position, not knowing the first thing really about leadership, other than what I'd read and what I'd observed and learned through that process of osmosis, I guess. So that was a really interesting situation, because it turned out that business was in dire financial straits. So I ended up being appointed by the court to be involved in the liquidation process of that. So that was also very difficult, because there were a lot of people involved in it, and they covered off aged care, and they had tourism operations and things like that. So it was, and it was also a community-based organisation. So it was the first experience that I'd actually had of having to deal with many, many different people in pretty high pressure circumstances, and to try and trade that business through as well as possible.
Through my journey, I've had a lot of really tricky situations where people have probably judged me, one as being a woman, one as being an ex-beauty therapist, one as being young, and sort of said, you know, this girl's going to be a pushover. I believe what you have to do is always listen to people's stories, especially people who are your detractors. Listen to what they have to say, let them speak, and then just use facts. And stand on your own 2 feet, be confident in who you are, and just say, you know, to get to the outcome that we want, we've got choice A or choice B. Which one are you going to make?
I guess there's some people that go to university and study these sorts of things. I've never studied anything. Everything I've done, I've learnt on the run. And I've always thought of myself as a sponge. People say I'm like a sponge soaking things in, or that I've got my radar up all the time, and that's probably true. I'm just naturally curious about anything and everything, and genuinely interested in people. And I think you can't be a leader unless you're interested in people.
I believe you can learn a lesson in everything, good and bad, and it's about sitting back and learning that lesson. And that doesn't come straight away. That comes sometimes a long time after, when all the emotion and the anger has gone. Then I always try and go, okay, what was I supposed to learn from that? And that's where resilience and building of character and building of those strong leadership skills comes from.
A more systematic mentoring process would be even better. I haven't really enjoyed that as much as some other people have had, but I've had many, many life mentors in a way under which I found myself, or they found me, to try and encourage me. And I think it's absolutely imperative, because you can't be an island unto yourself. You need accountability to other people. You need other people who are going to tell you the truth. Mentors have to be people who are prepared to say, mate, you got that badly wrong. And you need mentors that can be absolutely honest with you all the time. You don't want mentors that are actually telling you what they think you want to know. You've got to have people who've got a strong relationship of trust and respect that leads them actually to be prepared to challenge, even gently rebuke, but then encourage you when you're not sure. And that's where I've used my mentors, my informal mentors, many times.
If we can understand ourselves and somehow let go of our insecurities, well, then we can surround and believe that we can surround ourselves with people that we can trust and that we can listen to. Then you create inspiring organisations.
They often say the person who's out there doing it first is the courageous one, but coming on board and jumping onto someone's vision is courageous. And that takes a lot of self-worth and understanding yourself, your values, the values of the other person, and being willing to take a chance. And that first follower is pivotal in any leadership journey, and without those first followers, the leader will never actually probably succeed, because it's very, very lonely out there. So if you are a leader and that first follower comes on, you need to nurture them, you need to mentor them, and you need to bring them in on that dream with you. It's so important.
I think our mentors are very special people, and I think they've got a lot out of life already. They've got a lot out of leadership. I think they love passing on those skills, and I think they'll get self-satisfaction and great joy out of teaching people to be better leaders. They've been doing that all their lives naturally anyway, all of them, because they do that with their teams. And I think they really want to share those skills with anyone who is up and coming in the leadership space.
Coming into the Born to Lead program was such an exciting thing to me, to be part of such a wonderful mentoring journey. And I came to be in my role as a director of the New South Wales Business Chamber, and my role also as a business consultant, working with people every single day in building them and building the leaders of tomorrow. So I was approached by Tony and Charisse to come on this journey, and it's just been a fantastic journey for me. And now I feel this program of mentoring is going to be a fantastic way to give back.
And I feel like one of the big things that young entrepreneurs can gain is to get mentorship from leaders, particularly mature, wise leaders. And be humble enough to do that and listen to those people.
If you're interested in one of the mentors on the website, or if you're interested in being part of the community or being mentored through the community, then send us an email through the website, or both Charisse and my phone numbers are on the website. Give us a ring and we'll have a talk to you about the opportunities for you, either from a mentor point of view or a mentoring point of view.